wins the tip over Hall Elijah's, and the Cougars have the basketball first.
Immediately a 2-3 zone by the Bryant Bulldogs.
High screen from Cheney, shed out for Fabian White. It's long. Edwards offensive rebound and putback.
You know, it's interesting, in the game the other night for the University of Houston against Northwestern State, after the game, Kevin Sampson was talking about the fact that they played an opponent that played a 2-3 zone the entire game, and he said, we don't practice against it. He said, we're so bad at running a 2-3, we can't even simulate game action. So here for the second night in a row, they'll be going against a zone.
Erickson Bands, the only newcomer in this Bryant starting five. Here he is on the ball here, a youngster. He's 5'11". He'll be tested. He was a defensive force in the win against Brown. And Coach Jared Grasso said they'll give him an opportunity tonight. There's a three off the mark, shot clock violation, and this came from Adam Alita.
When you watch Bryant play, look how wide open the paint is. And so you look for cutbacks, backdoor cuts, you look for some dribble penetrations, but there's nobody in the paint clogging it up. And that's how they run their early offense too, Matt. In transition, they run to the three-point line.
Not too many worries about three in the key tonight for the officials?
No, I'm not sure they're going to ever beat anybody in the paint, at least when the team in black has the ball.
After a full court press, Houston into the front court with Cheney, who draws a foul. That's Peter Kiss, the sixth-year senior from New York, went to Notre Dame Prep and then began at Rutgers. 3 years there, 1 year at Quinnipiac, and now at Bryant. And not averse to a little trash talking, as we saw in the pregame highlights at Clemson.
He was great against Clemson. He was yelling at one side of the crowd and then came over to the other side, and he was really having fun. It was interesting there in the 2-3 zone. Erickson Bands is starting, and the reason we were told is because he's their best on-the-ball defender. Interesting you would start somebody who hasn't played very much at all because of his on-ball defense and then open up in a 2-3 zone.
Missed three from White. Here is what we were referencing this.
Yeah, he's telling that side of the court, and he goes, oh, well, I'm going to come over here to this side. I'm going to let you hear about it. And well, he's an emotional kid. He is the heart and soul of this team, and he is a really solid basketball player.
Here is Bands. He's averaged 9 minutes per game this season. He was a point guard in high school, used as an off guard last year. The Bryant starter played 35 minutes a game. Kiss shuffled the feet. That's an extra step and a travel.
We talk about Bands didn't play very much. He is averaging 2 points in this season. He's only 1 for 10 from behind the three-point line. Their normal starter, Luis Hurtado, both you and I were talking about, we expect to see him in this game early and often. Now they have switched to man-to-man defense.
White tries another three, and that's right there. 5 early points for Houston. Bands hands it off for Kiss. Kiss floats it inside. And there's a foul against Houston. It was Hall Elijah's, more known for his defense. He's 4 blocks per game, 3rd best in the country for the 6'8", 6-year senior from New York.
He has blocked 19 shots in the last 4 games. That is a huge number. And this is a kid that's been plagued by injuries almost his entire career. Has not had a preseason or a postseason yet in his collegiate career. Hopefully he will stay healthy, because for the Bryant Bulldogs, he's a game changer. His intimidation and what he can do at the rim and blocking shots is, well, it's an elite level, a top 5 in the country.
Let's watch how they set up. Here's the 1-3-1. We saw a tight 1-3-1, a expanded 1-3-1. Coach Sampson gave us the scouting report that they will vary the defense quite a bit.
We've seen a 2-3, a 1-3-1. We've seen man-to-man. It's imperative. You can do that when you have a really senior, mature team. You can change defenses because there's a lot of communication. If you're Reggie Cheney and you're Fabian White, going to take a lot of talking when you come down. Someone's going to have to yell out and recognize what the defense is.
And Coach Sampson said they will change during a possession. They'll go from man-to-man late to a zone. And this is an experienced group as the officials talk it over. Alita, a 5th-year senior. Kiss, a 6th-year senior. Hall Elijah's in his 6th season. Erickson Bands, the only underclassman in the starting lineup.
Yeah, top 8 players are all juniors and seniors, and most of them are 5-year players, if not 6, and a nice start for Kyler Edwards from behind the line.
Houston with 2 3-pointers in the early stages. Dominant from beyond the arc against Northwestern State. They led 60-25 at halftime against the Demons on Tuesday. Pride missed it from 4 feet, had a good look, rebounded by Fabian White. Edwards.
Yeah, good recognition. Kyler Edwards looked up, saw it was a zone, backed it out, reset.
White into the zone, and a nice touch from 8 feet. One of the ways to beat the zone there with White going just below the free throw line.
You know, the high post, that's where you want to attack a 2-3 zone high post, and you go high-low, and you make those wings pinch in. A 1-3-1's a little bit different. You want to attack it in the corners and up at the elbows. That was a really nice pass that time by Peter Kiss.
Kiss for Hall Elijahs.
This is token pressure. They're just trying to slow the Cougars down a little bit. They're not trapping. They're not gambling. I would anticipate at some point during the game they're going to turn that 1-3-1 into traps right when the Cougars get across half court.
Back-to-back mid-range jumpers from Fabian White.
If you're Bryant, that's too easy.
They were 1 game away from the NCAA tournament, lost the Northeastern Conference Championship game.
How quickly he has built it in Rhode Island. This is a good program in the Northeast Conference, and they are going to win a lot of basketball games this season.
He loves an old team, like every college basketball coach in America does. It worked at Iona with older players making the tournament consistently.
Yeah, I love what he said this week. Get old, stay old.
Yes.
And with the transfer portal, you can do that, right? Right now, he's going to feel really old if they can't find a way to stop Fabian White now with 9 points. And boy, he is getting the ball in the middle of that zone defense with very little resistance.
White made a 3 early on. There's a reach-in foul on Kyler Edwards, maybe setting up that for Fabian White. He made one of those 3s, and now he's had 3 mid-range shots.
Yeah, it's like there's a big donut in the middle of that zone defense, and the challenge is the defensive player in the middle of the zone is called X5. That's your big man. He's sagging down, and he's lining up. We'll look next time down. He's standing on the restricted arc, and that just leaves unbelievable operating space up at the high post for Fabian White.
Paul Elijah, 6th-year senior from Valley Stream, New York. He went to New Mexico Junior College, also played at LIU Post. They were going to eliminate that D2 program, so Coach Grasso helped him get to New Mexico Junior College. Now he is blocking a lot of shots for Bryant.
Yeah, what was a 1-3-1 full court pressure now turned into a 2-2-1. Boy, they are really changing their defenses.
And now we see them in transition. Everyone runs to a spot on the 3-point line. Kiss in the paint, missed it from 5 feet.
In transition, usually you have a big guy that's called a rim runner. He runs right down the court and he posts up. Well, not this Bryant team. They run to spots on the 3-point line. Cougars in transition defense, when you get to the 3-point line, turn around and match up because there's a chance the ball's not going deeper than that.
Jamal Shed with his first 2 points tonight. Houston has made 5 of its last 6 from the fields. Elijahs. Brailsford in the game. Shot clock at 5. Pride falling into the Houston bench, missed it.
Good
Great
pass.
feed for Shed. It came from Kyler Edwards.
Well, I love a player that will pass the ball ahead. The best pass in basketball is always the easiest pass.
Another deep 3 miss by Charles Pride. That was Edwards for Shed. Houston 6 of his last 7 from the fields.
I want to pick up on the read that Bryant's having on how they're changing their defense. I don't hear anybody yelling out, and they have changed their defense almost every single time down the floor.
Carlton to White, he spins.
Beautiful.
Nice touch with the left hand.
Beautiful. I love it when he drop steps back over that right shoulder and shoots with his left hand. The Cougars now on a 6-0 run.
Here's Childs. Chris Childs, senior from the Bronx. Brailsford.
There's just no movement at all. It's just whoever has the ball and the other four guys are looking at him. And I'm not sure that's a formula. Well, it's certainly not a formula for success. That is a nice dribble penetration by Peter Kiss.
Elijah's with the finish. He has all 7 of Bryant's points. White hesitates, lowers the shoulder. Tough rebound underneath from Hall Elijahs.
Yeah, maybe should have dropped that ball into Josh Carlton.
Good ball fake. Miss from Childs. Tough rebound from Kyler Edwards.
Sasser in the corner.
Shed back for Sasser. Grant Coleman preparing to come on for the Bryant Bulldogs. Edwards for 3. That's off the mark. Here come the Bulldogs in transition with Peter Kiss. Rejection from Fabian White.
Well, watch Fabian next time down against that zone defense. He has been so effective when he's caught the ball and turned and faced the defense. Here, really effective on the defensive end. That last time down, he caught the ball and he never turned and looked. If you don't turn and look, nobody has to react to you. You turn, make yourself a threat, look at the rim, and that draws the defense to you.
Kiss short with the 3. Rebound from the substitute Greg Callis, 5th-year senior forward.
The transfer played at St. Joe's for Jim Calhoun, the Hall of Famer. And Jared Grosso says about Childs, I want him to shoot more. I want to see him get up 6 to 10 3-point field goal attempts. This is a 1-3-1. You want to attack it, split the guy up top, and split the guy at the bottom down in the short corner right there.
Tajay Moore in the game for the first time, as is Treyon Mark. And he missed the good look inside. Contested 3 is there for Peter Kiss. Good defense from Houston, but that's excellent from deep.
I'm telling you, Peter Kiss has got all-conference celebration after he hits a shot.
Tajay Moore, Tremont Mark come on after the timeout. Here's Mark with Roberts. Excellent pass. And a flush.
He got away with a walk. He may have walked twice. He walked when he caught it, and then he traveled before he gathered himself. A nice pass nonetheless.
That dunk from Josh Carlton snaps a 9-0 run for Bryant. Open 3 off the bench and just out for Grant Coleman. Is Bryant's 1-3-1 causing a few problems for Houston now?
Yeah, right now they're not recognizing it. They've still got a guy up high and a guy down low, which matches up to the defense perfectly. Nice move. When you're in a 1-3-1, you want to take Josh Carlton and Juwan Roberts and split the guy down on the baseline and make him decide, make him commit who he's going to guard, and then throw diagonal passes.
Kiss with Coleman. High screen. Childs against Sasser. Good defense from Sasser. Jump ball.
Good call.
Impressive from Bryant Reed that they took the first punch from Houston. We've seen many teams like Rice, Northwestern State take that punch and never recover, but they took that punch and have gone on a 9-0 run.
Yeah, and really it's Peter Kiss, right? I mean, he plays, I want to say I made fun of him. I commented on his victory celebrations, but boy, I tell you what, that kid plays with energy and passion, and he's got a swagger, kind of a chip on his shoulder, and that kind of play can be infectious.
Tremont Mark out for Marcus Sasser.
Now in a man-to-man. Yeah, see, Sasser just recognized it and then changed his set.
Carlton with Juwan Roberts.
Josh Carlton didn't wait for the screen. He moved before Tajay Moore could get to him.
Carlton for 2. Carlton, the transfer from UConn. 115 games at UConn. It's stolen. Now Mark goes down. And a reverse dunk from Peter Kiss.
I almost want to tell the fans behind us, don't boo. That's just going to get this kid going. Just be real quiet and ignore him.
If you're going to pull an upset like Bryant wants to pull it, you have to believe, right? From the very first tip.
You got to come in. If you're intimidated and scared and recoil after getting punched, you got no chance.
Mark for Tajay Moore. 3 ball.
Jared Grosso over there on the sideline going, go, 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 even after a make.
Child to the pull-up. Carlton with the rebound. Tajay Moore, 4 dunks in the second half, 2 alley-oops in the win against Northwestern State on Tuesday. Growing in this system.
You see how everybody's piled up high? Split this guy down here where Josh Carlton at the right of your screen. You and Juwan Roberts split him and make him cover more distance.
Around the rim for about a minute and then down for Juwan Roberts. 11-2 run for the Cougars.
Good pass. I've been so impressed with the team leader that Sasser has turned into. He coming into the season, I thought he was just going to be a shooter. Well, he is way, way more than just a shooter.
Greg Callis misses both free throws. 5th-year senior from Mount Vernon, New York, lost 20 pounds earlier this season as the flu and strep throat ravaged this Bryant team.
They have only been together as a healthy team for 1 week, and Jared Grosso talked about that they're treating the next 30 days like a training camp.
Carlton, as the shot clock expired, misses.
Good
Roberts with the
rebound.
offensive rebound. Jamal Shed, straightaway 3. Childs with the rebound.
Yeah, good call. Tremont Mark got hooked up with Childs as he was trying to curl off that screen. And there's nobody on the backside. These sets are really interesting for Bryant Bulldogs because everybody's lifted up either on the three-point line or above the free throw line extended, and there's just nothing on the weak side for Juwan Roberts and his teammates. There's no help out there, no one in position to help.
Bryant lost in overtime to Dartmouth, the game they felt they should have won. Dartmouth tied it up late and then won in overtime, but before that, a good win at Brown. Steal from Moore, he'll throw it down.
A one-man press, right? Just put him on the ball, and if you haven't played against him, there is no way to fully appreciate just how high this kid gets up off the floor.
Another steal, this time Jamal Shed. Back-to-back run-out dunks from Houston, and there's
that is more explosive off 2 feet historically. Going back as far as you can go back, I can't think of anybody, nobody. And now I've started trying to think, is there anybody I've ever seen play college basketball as explosive as this kid?
Explosive and a great pass up court for Shed. Loose ball picked up by Mark.
Well, he twisted his ankle. Yeah, he didn't shoot that because he didn't have his base underneath him, because he tweaked his ankle at the end of that play, or the beginning of this play.
Nice move from Carlton, moving to his right.
He does such a good job at catching the ball, checking the defense, sees that no double team is coming, and then punishes the single team.
Nice range. Chris Childs had the 4-point play earlier, and now they'll call timeout to allow Jamal Shed to limp back to the Houston sideline.
Such good fundamentals as a post player to catch the ball and check the defense. Jared Grosso didn't know why the clock stopped, and we were talking about that Jamal Shed tweaked his ankle, but watch him catch the ball and look. He looks around for the defense. He catches it, he looks, nobody's coming, and then he knows he's clear to make his move.
And you've been asking for that from Josh Carlton. He likes going left. That time he went right. Mark missed the three. Offensive rebound picked up by Mark. Sasser finds White. Elijah pulls in the rebound.
Hey, you know, a few minutes ago when I was talking about how unselfish Marcus Sasser is playing, he had a shot. He had an open shot just then, and he passed to a teammate who had a better shot and was more open. Kudos to Marcus Sasser.
Great to see a player like Sasser having a breakout season, but still not trying to do too much. It's all under control.
I didn't fully appreciate coming into the season just how much he could do, his skill set. He's turned into an outstanding defender. He's passing the ball well, and his leadership is really, really growing on me.
Childs with the left hand. Chaney with the rebound. They run a double team at Mark. Edwards will slow it down. Houston shooting 61% from the field tonight. Mark gets the roll from the free throw line. Kiss looking back, gets instructions from Coach Jared Grosso. Double high screen. Kiss back to Elijah's. Minor high school in Texas. 13-3 Houston run. They're shooting 62% from the field tonight.
Yeah, I was surprised. I looked during that timeout, and they only have Cougar a good defense.
Up to Kiss. Chase down block from Fabian White. And another block from Chaney.
Yeah, really good hustle by Fabian White to chase that down. And you know, when you make a mistake and there's a turnover, you got to sprint back inside the ball. And not sure if Peter Kiss had any idea that Fabian was closing that quick.
Great angle there of that chase down block. Elijah's hands off for Kiss. Kiss tries a three. Sasser rebounds.
Ooh, turn and face the basket. Reggie Chaney caught the ball at the free throw line, and nobody was within 10 feet of him.
Jump ball, possession arrow to Houston after Pride forced the tie-up with White. Bulldogs suddenly have gone cold. They're 25% from the field, one of their last 7 from the fields overall. White missed it.
Now to see the difference, he caught the ball at the high post and immediately turned and faced the defense and realized he had basically a wide open 8-foot shot.
Miscommunication. Elijah throws it behind Adam Alida. It's tough for Adam Alida. He is a three-point shooter through and through.
Here's what we were talking about. Watch Reggie Chaney catches the ball. Look at all that distance. He never even looks. He just immediately kicks it back out. Well, when you get the ball at the high post, turn and even take a couple of dribbles. Make that X5. Make that guy come up and guard you.
White, the offense has really been run through him tonight. It's his 6th made field goal on 11 shots. Sasser has taken 1. It's been a mature showing for Marcus Sasser. He's played 15 minutes, attempted 1 shot. I think Houston is fine to run the offense through Fabian White.
And they're going to keep doing it. Fabian's off to a great start. He's got 13 points. Interesting, the Cougars have not attempted a free throw yet in this game.
Here's Tyler Brailsford, another steal. Sasser, plus the foul.
So many offenses are predicated on a ball reversal that sometimes you just do it automatically, like you know you're supposed to reverse the ball. That's the second time we've seen a Cougar guard as the ball reverses running through that passing lane. And you know, that was a pretty athletic finish by Marcus Sasser to keep his eyes up and put the ball up on the rim.
Brailsford with his first foul. Sasser 7 for 14 from deep on Tuesday night. All 7 threes in the first half. Tying a Houston record with Robert McKibber, who made 7 threes in a game against Charleston back in 2007. Lobbed inside for Elijah, stripped by Sasser. Pull up 3.
You just can't feed the post by lobbing it into him when the defense is behind him. It's like a punt, right? I mean, everybody on the floor had time to get there by the time Elijah's tried to catch the ball.
21-3 Houston run. Childs, short. Mark rebounds.
Well, not a black shirt below the free throw line going for an offensive rebound.
White, reach-in foul against Paul Elijahs.
He's about to get a technical. Oh, Elijah's just waved off the official, and you can mutter things under your breath and officials will let it go, but they usually don't like to be shown up that visibly. He's frustrated.
Tyler Brailsford to the bench. Luis Hurtado Jr., fifth-year junior, comes in for his first minutes tonight, wearing number 10. Childs.
Great defense.
Childs. Here's Hurtado. Spinning, lost it. Chaney with the steal.
Hurtado just 1 for 8. Oh my goodness. What a hesitation move. My goodness.
Tajay Moore with the block. Moore. Chaney with the dunk.
I know he missed the layup and it kind of loses the impact, but my goodness, what a move in transition by Marcus Sasser.
60-25 at halftime on Tuesday. Houston with a 30-point lead tonight. 12 straight for the Cougars. Kiss behind the back. With the bucket. Kiss was 7 here in the first half. Childs, Kiss, and Elijahs. 3 players have scored 7 points each for Bryant. Mark.
Whether Bryant stays in that zone defense or if they change it up and just stay man.
Houston shooting 48% on the season. They're shooting 64% tonight. 23 of 36 from the field. They only attempted 1 free throw and they scored 52 in the first half. A steal. Chaney has it, throws it behind Edwards. Pride. Nice finish around Chaney.
Full court pressure. Looks like they're going to trap out of this.
Edwards wide open 3.
I'm a big proponent that anytime a team presses you, the goal is not just to break the press. The goal is to punish them on the back end. Take advantage of numbers and score quick.
Kiss back for Pride. Up and under, short. And a foul against Bryant. It's Houston basketball.
I did not see what the call was. Is that on Elijahs?
I believe so. Second foul on Elijahs. Edwards.
Got to be a foul.
Went right at Elijahs. No whistle.
Tyler Edwards is shaken up a bit.
Back to the zone. Edwards still attacking. White from the corner. Kiss with the rebound.
I'm not sure that was a good shot selection. Good pass.
Elijah's running the floor with a left-handed finish.
Yeah, Chris Childs with a really nice left-handed bounce pass in transition.
9 for Elijah's. Mark with the mid-range.
Jared Grosso still over there on the sideline saying, go faster, go faster, go faster.
Chaney and White combining for the block. Mark double team. Jump stop. Off the rim twice for White and a reach-in foul. Frustration there for Houston. Josh Carlton, Juwan Roberts enter. A break for Chaney and White.
See Kelvin go over and talk to them, but I don't think that was to get a rest. I think he saw something he's not happy with his front court players and wanted to get a little bit of a reset with Carlton and Roberts.
First foul on Fabian White. Motion offense here from Bryant. Brailsford.
Great defense. I mean, great on-the-ball defense.
Mark with the steal.
Well, Tremont Mark, that was tremendous job of staying in front of the ball and then stripping it without fouling.
Carlton sticks with the rebound, took an extra bounce, but he's rewarded with 2 points. Double figures for Carlton on 5 of 6 shooting. Pride in the paint. Elijah stepped out.
Watch Tremont Mark move his feet, play defense with his chest. I mean, that is a great job of defense. He kept his hands out, and he just kept the middle of that number 12 right in the shoulders of the offensive player. That's about as good as you can do it.
Here's Mark. In the paint. Hard foul from Elijah's.
Only the second trip to the free throw line in this game for the Cougars.
Elijah's took credit for that foul rather quickly. Tuesday night, a return for Tremont Mark, who missed about 3 weeks with a shoulder injury. 12 points, 2 of 5 from deep. 4 rebounds, 4 assists.
And you know, the coaching staff said that he had his win. He didn't lose. You see the tape on that shoulder. He was just, you know, almost you think about a pitcher that's got a tired arm and you're sitting down and you let that arm bounce back, and that's what Tremont Mark has gone through. And they say he is healthy. He's 100%, and he just adds such a different dimension to this team.
He makes both after the game on Tuesday. He said he has to stay the course and be patient. Sweat equity pays off. Here's Hurtado. Elijah's nice setup. Left wing 3 is missed. Good look that time for Chris Childs.
Good
Mark,
pass.
no look feed inside. Carlton couldn't catch it. Hurtado stood up by Juwan Roberts. Sasser no luck. Carlton fouled.
Yeah, let me tell you something. That pass by Tremont Mark was a great pass, and Kelvin Sampson just stood up and pointed at Tremont and said, nice pass, and then immediately went, Josh! The big guys, so often when they're down there, they're in position to receive a pass, but they're not a receiver. They don't have their hands up and they're not ready. And it's not a game of quick draw. Watch, it's coming right into your living room. You can't have your hands down and then suddenly think, bam, I'm gonna draw them up as fast as I can, I'm gonna catch it. Just present yourself. You're down there, you're in position, stick your hands up and show them to the guards, and then everybody's on the same page.
Just pretend the t-shirt cannon shooting into the crowd.
Yeah,
and you're
right.
waiting for it at halftime.
And you're going to steal it from the dude next to you. The Cougars now on a 7-0 run. T-shirt cannon.
Pride leaves it for Chris Childs. Bryant searching for answers. Low pass for Kiss. Edward.
Boomerang, where he was just getting pounded in the face. Extra credit for creativity.
They're having fun. The Cougs are having fun. These fans are having fun. Kiss missed the three. Carlton with the rebound. Good feed for Edwards. He'll attack and get the roll.
Yeah, what a beautiful outlet pass by Josh Carlton. Cougars now on a 9-0 run. That reminded me of Elvin Hayes sitting next to us, his old teammate Wes Unseld. He'd grab that ball and turn around with both hands above his head and throw it the length of the court.
There's a three from the right corner. He started the game. We haven't seen him in a while. It's Erickson Bands, the sophomore from Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Just his second three-pointer of the season. Came into this game 1 for 10.
Mark attacking. Good sign for Mark, initiating physicality with that shoulder.
Yeah, he's so creative. And right before he goes up, he takes this long stride and allows him to keep balance and make the defense commit.
The wrap still on the left shoulder. Out for 3 weeks. Growing game by game.
Now with 10 points. Watch him. Nobody stops the ball. And he takes that long stride so he's under control, and very well done. Offensively in transition, you go until they stop you. You don't just arbitrarily stop at the top of the key and make a pass.
Greg Calixte with the foul. Mark makes both. He's up to 11. Kiss gets the high screen from Calixte.
Good rotation.
Sasser with the closeout. Mark with the rebound.
Marcus Sasser took away the role player right underneath the basket and still recovered out to the very corner of the court and contested that three. Excellent team defense.
Bands for Kiss to the mid-range. Carlton rebounds. Sasser, a deep three.
Sorry, partner. Juwan Roberts, I was looking down. He's holding his hand. He's holding his left hand. He's hurt that wrist.
And he fell hard going for the offensive rebound on the prior Houston possession and played through it. And now Edwards is going to the scorer's table to check in. Childs an open three. That's a gift. You don't get many of those against Houston, an open three. Childs into double figures, 10 points, 3 of 7 from beyond the arc.
3 more, and that's how many three-point field goal attempts his coach, Jared Grosso, wants him to attempt.
Ask for more aggression from him. Crossover from Sasser. He took 1 shot in the first half. He's come out firing here in the second.
Just a lightning-quick release.
Reed, you see this in the NBA a lot. A star doesn't do much in the first half, almost lulling the defense to sleep, and then they go off in the second. Hurtado out for Bands. That's short. Bryant basketball.
You know, we talked about it several times in the first half. I thought Marcus Sasser did a tremendous job of deferring to what was open. And in the first half, it was Fabian White and the bigs down low against that zone. And Tajay Moore limping off the court.
Been a tough night for Houston.
Yeah.
Jamal Shed, ankle injury early in the first half. We just saw Roberts with the wrist, and now Tajay Moore massaging the right thigh.
It looks like he knocked knees, maybe. Maybe that's not as lingering as it looks. Jamal Shed's over there on the bench, and he's got his shoe off. Obviously not coming back in. A little surprised it's not taped and doesn't have ice on it.
Reed, Sasser since halftime, 6 points.
I take that back. It does have ice.
Yeah, he's got the ice going. 2 of 2 from deep, an assist and a steal for Sasser since halftime. Thrown away by Bands. Coach telling him, I did not ask for the ball.
He was open.
Learning experience for Bryant and head coach Jared Grosso. I asked him yesterday, what have you seen from Houston? He goes, the parts I've watched I haven't liked. Tough to go into an environment like this and prepare your team for this.
You know, you hit the nail on the head when you said it's a learning experience. Oh boy, I tell you what, Tremont Mark's getting it going now. But you can talk about what it means to play hard every time down, but maybe you don't appreciate it till you try going against it.
Edwards fighting for the offensive rebound and putback. Houston has not dropped the intensity. Stepped out of bounds, trying to make a play in the corner. Charles Pride.
Now, the defensive rotation is excellent. The Bulldogs have the court spread out completely. Nobody in the paint. They're setting an on-the-ball screen. The guy rolls. And for Kelvin Sampson, his offside guard is rotating down, taking away the rolling post player, and still recovering back out to his man in the corner. I just, you know, I know I've said it twice, but that's about as good as you can do it.
Mark, good adjustment. Roberts moving right and left. Bit of a Hakeem Olajuwon there. And Mark for three. (10-0) Houston run. Roberts pulls it in. Foot on the gas for Houston. Edwards from the corner. They're relentless, Reed. With the big lead, they do not take their foot off the gas.
When you're playing against them, you swear there's 8 of them out there, right? Because there's just no gap and no 32 points in the paint. A difference of 12 to 44. You know, Kelvin Sampson will always find something that he's not pleased with, something to work on, a development opportunity out of every game. They want to get 50% of all of their missed shots. They want to have offensive rebounds. Right now, they're at 40%. They've gotten 8 offensive rebounds off of 20 misses.
Largest lead of the season for Houston, 50 points, a 12-0 run after 2 more for Fabian White. White up to 15. Erickson Bands, we haven't seen his on-ball defense. That was the calling card from Coach Jared Grosso. He won them the Brown game, according to his head coach, but they've gone 1-3-1. They've used the zone, the full court press. We haven't seen many mano-a-mano possessions on defense for Bryant.
That is his first miss from the free throw line this season for Jared Grosso.
They lost by 1 point at Syracuse last year.
They lost the title game, the conference tournament, an opportunity to get into the NCAA tournament. Lost a game to Mount St. Mary's, and a lot of these players talked about they've returned 6 players, 4 starters. 4 of the 6 are double-figure scorers, and a lot of them talked about that game left a bad taste in their mouth. They went to the CBI or one of the postseason tournaments, but they want to come back and get another shot at getting into the NCAA tournament.
Sasser mid-range, tapped out by Edwards. Bryant basketball. Sasser thought he was fouled. Coach Sampson, 8th season at Houston, 33rd year overall. Tonight will be his 674th career win. Some words there for Tajay Moore before he returns. Coleman straightaway 3. Roberts squeezes that rebound.
It was about 2 feet to the right.
Mark with the pull-up.
Good rebound, Kyler Edwards.
And he draws a foul. He's been really motivated since Kiss hit him in the nose with the basketball.
You know, one of the things that Kelvin and his staff emphasize and they teach as well as anybody in the country is rebounding out of position. So it's not a big guy down there blocking out and turning and then jumping up and securing the ball. It's guys like Kyler Edwards. He was outside of the three-point line on the left side when that shot went up. Got the rebound under the basket going on the other side of the rim.
Another foul on the inbounds play. (17-3) Houston run. 17 foul against Bryant. Free throws coming for Fabian White. Well, if last year was a sneak preview from his ACL injury return, this is the full Fabian White with the full off season and get his full body back. He's had a great start to the year.
Maybe Fabian 2.0. He has added a lot of weapons and took full advantage of rehab to improve. Watch to the right of your screen. You don't even see Kyler Edwards, and then all of a sudden he comes diving in and gets the rebound on the other side of the basket. That is terrific rebounding effort.
White 1 of 2. 16 for Fabian White. He and Tremont Mark, the team leaders, 16 apiece. Erickson Bands at a Pawtucket, Rhode Island, Shea High School. Alida. Alida bypassed the 3. Band short, here comes Edwards. Edwards will pull it out. Mark.
Shook himself.
Tajay Moore will attack. And a foul called on Greg Calix.
I'm going to tell you something you're not going to believe. Tajay Moore is averaging 25 minutes per game. This is the 8th game that he has played in for the Houston Cougars. This is his first trip to the free throw line.
Stunning.
Somebody that's that athletic, you would expect him to attack more, and he's been really good in the corner, but just then is the first time I remember him putting the ball on the floor and attacking the rim.
Well, you think about what he did at Cal State Bakersfield, 51% from deep, but he only averaged 12 points per game, so he's a player that does it well on defense, maybe on rebounding, but that offensive evolution for him seems to be the next step.
Using the athleticism. It's great to be athletic in the dunks and all that, but then use it. And we've seen him use it on the defensive end, but not as much on the offensive end, especially going to the offensive boards.
15-0 run, the largest run of the night for the Cougars. Calixte lost 20 pounds. He's recovered, and a nice finish inside with the left hand.
I've been bragging on the rotation on the backside. That time, Juwan Roberts did not get there, and boy, he looked over at his coach, and he heard about it.
Calixte, 6'8". How difficult is that, losing 20 pounds mid-season?
Yeah, you can't even put it into words, right? You're weak, you have no stamina, things that you normally can do, you can't, and you know, he'll probably feel himself again about in February.
Kiss with 2. After Carlton added 2 more. Carlton's been efficient tonight, 13.6 of 7 from the field. Josh Carlton.
Good pass.
For Roberts.
You know what? Really good things happen when Josh Carlton touches the ball. Am I right?
Absolutely.
You know, he makes good decisions. He has very few turnovers. He checks the defense. If the defense is man on man, he makes good post moves. If they double him, he's got his head up. He's looking for teammates. That was really good post-to-post passing. Watch him. He looks, he checks the defense. Here comes the double team, and he makes a nice pass.
Well, we heard Coach Sampson after the game on Tuesday as there's another 3 off the mark from Alida. He mentioned that he could start 5 guards, implying how good his guards are. But maybe there's some motivation there for the big guys that, hey, you got to earn your playing time. Roberts, hustle, rebound, and save.
One thing we know about Coach Sampson, he is always sending a message to somebody. He personifies everything that Kelvin Sampson wants his guards to be. And I saw a picture on Twitter after the game the other night, both Galen and Corey in the hallway with the staff, and a lot of love going both ways.
Well, Coach Sampson referenced that in the postgame on Tuesday, saying once he did that and made it cool to go to Houston again for the Houston players and even the Texas players. And now 4 of the starting 5 are Texas kids. There's a block. from Juwan Roberts as the shot clock expires.
Now the defense in the rotation has been exceptional. Juwan Roberts, they're taking away, they're double teaming. Look where Juwan Roberts comes from to block this shot. That's him recovering from being all the way underneath the basket. You talk about if you're Jared Grosso, you know, what are some of the things you learn? Man, that's what you show your kids on film. You go, hey, when we talk about defensive rotation, we talk about contesting shots, talk about playing hard with effort. Watch this film. You're going to be frustrated that you've gotten blown out as bad as it is. But there's a lot that you can learn from it. And right now, Hall Elijahs is fouled out of the game, and some frustration over there on the sideline.
Fifth foul on Elijahs. Jared Grosso contending with the call. Player at Quinnipiac, assistant coach at Iona, 5 NCAA tournaments in 8 years. Also assistant at Fordham and Hartford and his alma mater.
Last year, 15-7, 10-4 in the Northeast Conference, and that was back-to-back seasons of 15 wins. And well, that is quite a turnaround from a program that had only won 3 games the year before he got there.
This team was Division II 12 years ago. Ellsford short. Offensive rebound from Pride. Deep 3 from Alita. Alita's figuring out, if I want to take a 3 tonight, I got to take it from there, because 54 of his 58 shots on the season before tonight were 3s. There's 2 more from Mark, who's up to 20.
You see that big, long stride? He gets his shoulders past the defender, and then he extends that stride, and he is so difficult to defend.
You hear the students cheering. It's not for Clyde Drexler, it's for Ryan Elvin.
Ryan Elvin, a walk-on who can really play. He's an excellent shooter. Is not used to getting 6 minutes of playing time.
Kiss with the steal. Wow, Tajay Moore with the rejection. Carlton gets his own miss, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Look, I don't know if that was goaltending or not, but I'm not sure I care. Look how high Tajay Moore gets on this block. Holy cow, that was not goaltending. That is exceptional defense. Oh my. Oh my. Could we show that one more time?
Tajay Moore from Cal State Bakersfield, and Coach Sampson talked about the difficulty of getting a player transferring and the tough conversations you have to have. Moore with the steal. For Tremont Mark. And Reed, I think that was a case of Tremont saying, I know you can throw it down. Let me show these people what I can do.
Hey, Chris Childs, if he had a little bubble, what was going through his head right now, look at him. He's running along thinking, I don't really want to be on SportsCenter. I'm going to slow up and just let this one go.
Tremont Mark in the second half, 17 points, 5 of 6 from the field, 6 of 6 from the line, couple rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal.
22 points for Tremont Mark.
Chris, nice crossover. Missed the dunk. Roberts with the rebound. Houston came up just shy of 100 the other night. They're going to get to 100 tonight.
Robbie Armbruster also in the game for the Cougars.
Freshman from Atlanta. Roberts with the left hand.
Really nice job by Juwan Roberts. We talked about it the whole game against the zone, catching the ball and turning and facing the rim. Ryan Elvin's about to hit a 3 this time down.
Another 14-0 run for the Cougs. Mark asks for the screen. Armbruster, 3 to shoot. Kiss for 3, short. And a rebound and putback for Greg Callist. Missed 10 days as he lost 20 pounds battling strep throat and the flu.
Partner, I've been doing this for 29 years, and I'm not sure I've ever seen a 63-point game.
A 14-2 run. Bryant had a 5-minute spell in the first half where they were in this game. At a 9-0 run, Hurtado with 2, a great story. Luis Hurtado missed a 1.5 years with testicular cancer, came back, and now he's still playing college basketball. The largest cheer tonight is for Ryan Elvin, the walk-off. Robbie Armbruster, his first 2 points.
Let me tell you something. So Ryan Elvin, I get it, right? He's a walk-on, and that's everybody's favorite. But people almost act like he can't play.
Yep.
Let me tell you, Ryan Elvin can really play. He has got a beautiful shot, and I don't know what his percentage is, but to sit on the bench the entire game and check in, I bet if you did a ratio of shooting percentage and factored in the amount of time you haven't played and got your heart beating and got a sweat going, he may lead the country in three-point field goal percentage. I'm telling you, he can really shoot. Oh my goodness, our statistician Stuart Geddes did some research, and in that Valparaiso game in 1968, what was the number? Elvin had 62 points. That was more than I had my whole senior season. 62 points in that game.
That was before the three-point line.
Come on.
Armbruster with the dunk. You know, Reed, the way you respect an opponent is you play hard as you can till the end.
Yeah.
The Cougs are doing that. Edwards. 2 more for Armbruster.
Yeah, and 1. Hey, Kyler Edwards has quietly had a really nice game. He has another double-double. I think that's his 3rd of the season. He's got 10 rebounds. He's got 12 points and a couple of really nice assists.
It felt like the official gave a flop sign for Luis Hurtado.
Well, they did call a foul. Would they change it? I'm not sure what happened. Maybe the Cougars declined it. Well, this may end up challenging that 77-point record from 1968.
Hurtado. Nice from Calixt. You would not know he lost 20 pounds with his effort tonight and what he's done on the offensive end.
Luis Hurtado's done a couple of nice things here late in the game.
Hurtado was a top 150 recruit coming out of high school, went to UAB, battled and beat testicular cancer, and still playing college basketball now for Bryant. Elvin with the floater. Hurtado from deep. Bands misses the 3. Armbruster with the rebound.
Armbruster is gassed. He's coming into your picture now, and man, he is exhausted.
Moore misses the three. Reed, just think about that game. Back in 1968, they scored 158 points without the three-point line. I wonder what kind of basketball it was and just how you can do that.
Throw it to Elvin, and then throw it to Elvin, and then throw it to Elvin. Don Chaney, you can take a shot every 5th time down the floor, but then throw it to Elvin. Come on, man, 62 points.
Calixt, Childs. Tajay Moore with the rebound.
What are we at, a 70-point differential?
5 Cougars in double figures. Mark with 22. Carlton was 17. Fabian White was 16. One last shot coming for Bryant. Bands for Chris Childs. And Moore doing some juggling before inbounding. Didn't know Tajay Moore played soccer as well.